I remember it was right before I started playing guitar. Yeah, because I was when I was 14 was like when I really started getting into it. So Sabbath was my band at the time. I remember when they broke up, and I remember they were like, oh, she's got a new band and everything. It's called Blizzard of Oz or whatever. And I remember when that album came out, it was just like, we just loved the music. Aside of the amazing technique and his tone and everything like that, it was just songwriting.
So I first became aware of Randy Rhoads when I read in Sounds magazine that Ozzy had left Black Sabbath and he formed a new band called the Blizzard of Oz. And of course, when they imported albums from England, the record store would only import maybe 3 or 4 copies, not a whole batch. So those Blizzard of Oz copies went quickly and I missed it. But actually before that, the first thing I heard was the Mr. Crowley EP. I managed to get my hands on that. It was Mr. Crowley Live. And I remember putting it on and playing at our friend's house, and me and the guys at Exodus were just blown away by how good it sounded. And I was really blown away by how Randy Rhoads' guitar sounded and how great of a guitar player he was. I wasn't expecting that. I was expecting someone like Tony Iommi, more traditional, more like Black Sabbath, but he had this classically influenced style that wasn't overtly classical. He was using all the latest guitar techniques. And he was able to incorporate all this into his sound and really just make it his own, instead of I'm copying this guy and I'm copying this guy and look how good I can copy them, He had his own sound.
I started playing at 12 years old, so not too soon, not too long after that, started getting into bands like Priest and getting into Maiden and getting into heavier stuff. So I'd known of Ozzy, as a big Sabbath fan, and it was probably 1981, and the record came out. It was his big release, his solo release. I didn't like the Never Say Die record that much, and then Heaven and Hell came out, and it's just, wow, Sabbath is, what's Ozzy gonna do next, And I heard, you hear this riff, and you go, what the hell? I got goosebumps right now just thinking about it. And I think the back of the record said Randall Rhoads. So who's this Randall Rhoads guy? He's like this new dude that we're all over, where me and my friends were into guitar players and seeing what's happening. It's hard because he is such a proficient dude, and there's just some things that I just physically can't do. And you hear the pick slide going into and then it gets to the solo section. But my jaw just drops, I hear this dude just riffing. Then he does this pick thing that's like, you hear this guitar tone that's like nothing I had heard at that point. It was like sparkling and like glass and like abrasive, but still so smooth, and you can understand what's going on, but it had all the gain that I hadn't really heard at that point.
It was oversaturated, but it was full. It had punch still. It didn't sound like this fuzzy kind of like cloth, like it can sound like. It was full and had punch, and it was one of those guitar sounds where you just want, the more you turn it up, the better it sounds,
Me and my buddies, we heard Over the Mountain when we put Diary of a Madman on it. It was just like the guitar, first the run going into the solo, and then the solo itself with then I was just like, wow, that's great. I wonder what made him think of that. That's the reason why we're all still, everyone will forever be talking about him, it's just because of what he wrote.
For me, Randy is a perfect mix of modal playing, pentatonic playing, dynamic playing, and he doesn't overdo any of it. It's all really tastefully done, and it's super melodic and catchy, and he plays for the song. He doesn't try to outshine the song at all, and his solos are just perfect compositions within the bigger composition.
with Randy's solos, I mean, there were songs within songs. You could play any of his solos and like within 2 seconds you go, oh yeah, that's, you know, that's a Diary of a Madman solo. That's Crazy Train. That's I Don't Know. That's, you know, and then, you know, what I got out of Randy, and I think with Dime and all my peers and all my buddies, it's just, you know, that's the St. Rhodes University. I mean, that's how you learn how to write a solo. You know, so you have a beginning, a middle, and an end. So, you know, it tells a story.
And it wasn't the playing that got me as much as I thought it would at first, but it was his conviction on stage with the way he believed every note that he was playing. And you felt that from him. I have goosebumps again. Stuff is real for me. And it was that and the respect that he had for the guitar with the way that he just wanted to be better. And so everything was just so, all the compositions were just rehearsed and known and thought out, and, you know, that's what really turned me into, you know, such a fan, and just kind of, it was a whole new world at this point.
I mean, he had it all. He had the riffs, he had the sound, he had the technique, he had the look, and he was the complete package right there. And I think, you know, people aspire to that. I aspire to that, for sure. You know, and he's just like a great model for that kind of thing.
He just taught the importance of knowing your instrument and how that it's cool to know what you're doing. You know what I mean? To know the names of the scales, to know theory. He's just such a huge inspiration for just young guitar players to just invest your life into it. You know what I mean? And just be knowledgeable and everything like that. So I think that's what he'll always be known for.